Hey, what's up everyone? Alyssa Knight here in a brand new episode of Knight TV, and this is the long-awaited, anticipated show on building a rogue base station. If this is our first time meeting, I'm the host of Knight TV, and this channel is all about hacking and securing embedded systems. Now, the last time I made this video was when I was in Germany, and I was speaking at a conference and I walked you through how to build a rogue base station. But a lot has changed over the last 3 years since 2017. A new BladeRF has come up from Nuon that now supports 5G. A lot of versions of software have been updated in that original video. So I'm going to walk you through how to do this. If you're interested in penetration testing IoT devices that use GSM, if you're interested in targeting telematics control units in connected cars, if this is an area of vulnerability research that you're interested in, this is definitely a show that you don't want to miss. So sit back, relax, grab that cup of joe, and join me for a brand new episode of Knight TV. Greg went out looking for a hack. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started now and begin building the BladeRF host libraries and tool for Ubuntu. You're going to see that I'm actually using Ubuntu desktop version 20.04 LTS, and LTS just stands for long-term support. So this process is obviously beginning the steps for installing our rogue base station. I'm going to start out with the BladeRF libraries and tool, and then I'm going to walk you through flashing it with the latest firmware. And then we're going to go ahead and get into the setup and configuration of E8 BTS. So we're going to use the PyBombs tool to install the packages that we need. PyBombs is essentially a package manager and build system for GNU Radio. It handles the fetching, building, and installation of GNU Radio and its dependencies, and is largely system independent. So a lot of you, even if you're not building this on Ubuntu, these steps should work for you just fine. Compiling on Ubuntu systems, you want to ensure the following packages are installed, and that's Python 3.6, Python 6, Python Mako, Python 3 LXML, Python NumPy, Python 3 NumPy, Python 3 pip, and Git. And I'm going to go ahead and put the actual commands in the comments of this video, and it will also be in the corresponding blog article that I'm going to be releasing along with this video as well. If the PyBombs command is not found after pip installs, ensure that tilde.local/bin is part of your path. If it's not, you can pretty much run the export command and add the following to your .bashrc file. Set the path of PyBombs command is not found again. It's $export path equals to $path : $home/.local/bin. Next, you're going to install PyBombs using pip. There are other methods listed on the PyBombs README in the PyBombs README file, but you're going to go ahead and just apply the default configuration and add the default recipes in this stage. So we're going to go ahead and run pip3 install -- upgrade git plus https://github.com/gnuradio/pybombs.git. Then once that's complete, we're going to run pybombs auto-config and then pybombs recipes add -defaults. Next, we're going to go ahead and use Nuon's experimental gr-osmo, and that's a simple sed line, and I'm not going to repeat that out. Just go ahead and copy and paste it from the comments. If you are building defaults or latest GNU Radio greater than or equal to 3.8, remove Qt4 and PyGTK or you're going to have problems. So those are the two sed lines that are going to be in the comments, and you can see here in my terminal window. Optionally, you can also enable GR Video SDL. I've gone ahead and done that here. And again, it's the sudo apt-get install libsdl 1.2-dev and libsdl 2-dev, as well as the sed line here in the terminal window, and in the comments you can copy and paste it. Let's go ahead and create a prefix or a directory in which we're going to install all the GNU radio components. In this case, we've set the prefix directory to tilde pybomb/BladeRF. And if you guys don't know what tilde in Linux means, it's just a shortcut for your home directory. So if you do cd space tilde, that will actually bring you to your home directory. We also specify the alias BladeRF for easy reference later and install the default GNU radio setup. So we'll go ahead and do an mkdir tilde pybombs, and then the pybombs config lines, which again you can copy and paste from the command line. At this point, GNU radio has been installed into the pybombs BladeRF directory that we previously specified. Now let's go ahead and install useful applications such as BladeRF and GQRX. We're going to need those. So that's simply just running pybombs space -p, as in Papa, BladeRF, install BladeRF, gr iqbal, gr osmo sdr, and gqrx. So that will actually install gqrx, and I'm going to actually walk you through using and configuring gqrx, but you do want to make sure that you install that via pybombs. So once that's done, we're going to go ahead and just run things using pybombs. Or source the environmental variables, where it's source tilde pybombs BladeRF setup underscore env.sh, and then you can just run BladeRF CLI. If you get a permission denied error like you see here, or connection refused error from Pulse Audio, this took me probably about 20 minutes to figure out what was going on. You actually need to run Pulse Audio as a daemon before starting GQRX, or you're going to get this error message. So you simply just need to type in Pulse Audio space -D as in Delta, and then you should be able to run GQRX without any problems. If you are running Ubuntu 20.04 Focal or later, which is us, a PPA is available from Nuon. It's ppa://BladeRF. So I provide you the commands here in the terminal window, and again, you can copy and paste them from the comments. New builds will appear occasionally as BladeRF releases and release candidates are tagged. So I recommend doing it through the PPA. Work smart, not hard. To activate the PPA, all you have to do is just sudo add apt repository ppa nuon llc/BladeRF, then run a sudo apt-get update, and then sudo apt-get install BladeRF. You don't actually need to add the -get anymore, just apt install. If you do plan to build GNU Radio or gr osmo sdr, you're going to need the header files. If you're not going to be doing that. You can go ahead and just skip the step, but to grab the header files, you just do a sudo apt install libbladerf dev. Next, you're going to install GNU Radio, grosmo, SDR, etc., which again is an optional step, but we're going to do it. And that's just sudo adapt repository. There is a PPA for GNU Radio. So sudo adapt repository PPA :GNU Radio / GNU Radio -releases, GNU Radio -master, and then do an apt get update and apt install GNU Radio. The next step is actually wrapping up the BladeRF tools install, and that's just basically flashing it with the latest firmware. You'll know that everything is running once you have all of the LEDs lit up. I don't know if you guys can see this in the video, but here's the LED light that it's on, and then these 3 lights on the right hand side on the BladeRF are going to be all lit with the middle LED blinking as there's activity. One thing about the BladeRF is if you don't know which model you have, whether it's the X40 or the X115 or the BladeRF 2.0 Micro, I did actually put an order in for the Micro, the new 2.0 Micro. It will be here tomorrow, actually. And when I do the next steps in the next video, I will actually be using the BladeRF 2.0 Micro. All of these setup steps that I went through in this video are going to be pretty much the same. So there really isn't a need to recreate a new video with the Blade 2.0. But I just want to let you know in the next video, I will not be using the X40. I will have upgraded to the 2.0. The neat thing about BladeRF is you can actually use the BladeRF firmware FX3, and that's firmware for all of the models. You can actually flash it with that firmware file, and it won't cause any problems. So if you want to have all the FPGA images installed simultaneously, you can do that without an issue. So that's what I did. I just basically did an apt install BladeRF-firmware-FX3, and it will grab all of the firmware files for all of the releases, which is going to be good for me because I'm going to be upgrading to the Micro anyway, the 2.0 Micro. So once you do that sudo apt install for the firmware, it's gonna throw the firmware image into /user share new on to BladeRF, and in there will be a file called BladeRF_fw.img, and you're just gonna point to that. So you're just gonna run a BladeRF-CLI and --flash-firmware, and then point to the firmware image. That's all you do. Then it's flashed. Then you're going to want to go ahead and just check the basic device information, and that's just running BladeRF-CLI --i, and that's interactive mode. And then once you're at the command prompt for the CLI, you just type in help, and that'll give you a list of all of your commands. Type in info, it'll give you information on the BladeRF like you can see here in my terminal window, as well as the version command, and that will give you the version of everything that's running. And that's it. So this is the setup and installation of the BladeRF. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and set up and install the 8BTS. I'm going to walk you through the configuration of that. That's what I probably get the most messages about and most calls for help on LinkedIn and Twitter is, I really don't understand nib. I really don't understand the 8BTS. I'm going to walk you guys through how to do that in the next video. Well, that's it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to my channel, and click that bell icon to be notified of new uploads. So I upload a new video and a live broadcast every week. You'll get notified of new uploads whenever that happens. So definitely stay tuned and check out my other videos, check out my other playlists. If you're interested in vulnerability research and hacking embedded systems or securing embedded systems, this is definitely the channel that you're going to want to constantly check. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Thank you for joining me for another episode of KnighTV.